Hi everyone, and welcome to my very first class of this kind. So interesting that we're in a situation where I get to try something new again, which is really fun. So yeah, this is basically an experiment that I'm inviting you to. So let's begin. This practice will be between an hour and 15 minutes. I'm not really sure. So, give yourself the space, and I'll be doing it in real time with you. So make sure you're monitoring your breath and pausing if you need, etc. Okay? So let's begin by closing our eyes like we usually do. Sit up nice and tall on your spine and start to connect with your breath. So we're going to keep this part fairly short. You might want to even think about spending some time in a seated practice before you begin. But let's connect with our breath. Just feel the flow of the breath, the degree of resistance and fluidity in the body. And just checking in. Some of us have had a kind of a trying time lately, and there's lots of questions and lots of concerns, and we just don't know where we're at right now. And so we're just here to breathe and ground, move the body, and remember who we are. So let whatever this practice needs to be about for you, whatever's going to nourish you and accomplish what you need right now, it's call to mind. And then we'll take the mantra Om. So let's just begin with a nice deep breath in through the nose, and we'll sigh it out the mouth. Inhale for Om. Om. Allow your eyes to fall open. And let's bring our hands to the mat. I do recommend that you have a tissue handy, just in case. But we're going to tuck our toes under. So remember, toes tucked under position and sitting back over the heels. Remember, if that's uncomfortable for you, you can always put something between your seat and your heels, or just come out of the posture as you need. We'll bring the hands to shoulder height, and we'll begin our arm and shoulder breathing. So inhale, bringing the arms up, open the hands wide. Exhale, tuck the thumbs and bring it down quickly. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Make sure you're really letting yourself pull in the breath and then expelling it quickly from the body. Let's do another 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Inhale, reach the hands up and hold your inhalation in. Engage pelvic floor and lower belly. Hold the breath in for just a little bit longer. And then exhale. You can bring hands down to your thighs. Maybe keep eyes closed. Take another inhale. And another exhale. Untuck the toes if you still have them tucked. And we'll sit back over the heels once again, and maybe see if you can let your knees come up as you rock back and forth over the ankles and the top surfaces of your feet. And then we'll bring the hands to the mat and come into table pose. So please feel free to pad the knees if you need here, and take your time. So open the palms wide, root down into the fingers, and we'll energize the hands like we're dialing the hands away from each other. You want to feel that all the way up through the arm, into the shoulder and the shoulder blade and the rib cage of the body. So let's begin some Asana breath. So inhale, send your tail up, stretch your belly down, shine your heart forward, lift through the crown of your head. And then exhale, pull the breath in toward the spine. Expel the breath, pull your navel in, tuck your chin. Inhale, let your tail rise. Let the front seam of your body unfurl and lift through the crown of the head. And exhale, pull the belly in as you expel the breath, and tuck your chin. And please carry on a few more times in your own good time, just feeling into the movement of your spine this morning or afternoon or whatever it is that you're practicing. Keep some liveliness in the palms. And then as you start to feel what the spine is doing and where there might be some reluctance to move in the spine, just encourage movement. But then you might also start to notice the movement within the shoulder joints and within the hip joints that are actually allowing the spine to go through this motion. Let's take one more breath right there. And as you expel that breath, you're going to start to move a little more randomly. So side bending, letting your shoulder girdle move, letting the hip girdle move. Spine can bend from side to side. You can lift it into flexion, drop it into extension. But let's kind of move randomly and just feel into those resistant corners in the body. Let's pause one more time in the center and drop the elbows down and come back up over with the shoulders over the hands. Let's try that again. Elbows drop down and then bring your shoulders back over your hands a few times. And then you can start to challenge that a little bit, bringing a little bit more of a bend into your wrist as you bring the chest forward. And one more time. And then come forward and pause. Root down into your fingertips more strongly and just challenge this position a little bit. This is good strengthening for your wrist. Really keep the hands lively. Press down through your palms into the tips of your fingers and keep dialing the hands away from each other. Very nice. We're going to come back. Tuck the toes, press up and back into downward facing dog. Keep maintaining that dialing away from each other energy through the hands, through to the arms, into the shoulders. Let's take a nice deep breath here. Press into the feet. And then start to walk your feet up to your hands. Coming into a nice deep forward fold with the knees bent as much as you need so that the arms can actually wrap around the back of the knees. It's good to have your feet apart a little bit here. And then we'll start to energize like we're dialing the feet away from each other. And we'll energize that way, dialing the feet and the knees away from each other and then pressing the legs into the arms. Good, let's take one more deep breath. You might push down a little more into the feet and see if the sitting bones might want to rise a little bit more. Shoulders pulling away from the ears. And then we're going to allow the arms to dangle. Press down into your feet and start to roll your body up. Let's come to full Tadasana posture. Great toes point straight ahead, heels are just a little bit wider. Now, I want to suggest that you stand with feet a little bit wider apart and we'll take another pranayama technique. So this is a technique where we'll be bending and straightening at the hips. So doing this action, you've done this with me before. And I want to remind you that we're still dialing the knees away from each other. Let's not let the knees collapse in as we go up and down, okay? Arms will reach out and we'll be thumping the chest to stimulate the thymus gland. Let's begin with an inhale and exhale, turn, inhale, exhale. I'm not going to thump my chest hard because that would make the mic really blast you. So this is what we're doing, inhale and exhale. Thumping the chest quite firmly so that we vibrate the chest. Inhale and exhale. Feel free to go at your own rate. You can go a little faster, a little slower than I'm doing. Full inhales, full exhales. Let your knees bend, let your hips bend, and let's do it for 8 more times. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take a big breath in. Your heart rate will probably be up. Exhale the breath. Slow down your breath. Inhale. Exhale, exhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Let's reclaim our Tadasana posture once again. And we'll begin some sun salutations. Inhale, arms to the sides and overhead. Exhale, dive your body forward and down. Inhale, come up to a half lift position, and we'll pause here this first time. So press down into your feet and energize like you're dialing the feet and knees away from each other. Try to reach back through your tail and forward through the crown of your head. And notice if your tendency is to reach forward with the chin.
So let's not do that so much. Let's reach through the crown of the head instead. Now draw the belly in toward the spine, and today we'll bring the arms out. So you're just taking them straight out from the shoulders. Press the back of your arms up as you shine your heart forward. Keep reaching through the crown, reaching back through the tail. We'll take one more breath here, and then exhale, folding forward. One more time, we'll come up to half lift, and then exhale, hands to the mat. Let's step our feet back. Press down into the feet and energize like you're dialing the hands away from each other. Shoulders are over the wrists, and now we're pressing into the toes. So not only are the toes tucked under, but they are also pressing down. So sure, we can bend the toes like this, but can we grip with the toes? See, I'm actually gripping with my toes right now. So let's energize those toes. Use the toes to send the heart out over the hands. Keep lifting through the belly, dialing the hands away from each other. Let's take one more breath here. Beautiful. And then we'll lift through the belly and press back, downward facing dog. And that will be our practice for a few breaths. Inhale, come forward, use your toes. Exhale, lift through the belly and press back, downward facing dog. Let's do one more. Coming forward, lift through the belly, downward facing dog. Now let's come forward to upper push-up position. Exhale, let the knees come down, dial hands away from each other and come to the mat. Root down into the pubic bone and the tops of your feet. Inhale and exhale. Now tuck your toes, press into the toes, lift the belly, and take downward facing dog. So this is all about lifting the belly. Let's come forward again. Exhale, knees down, dial hands away from each other. Keep lifting the belly. Inhale, little cobra. And then let yourself come down. Tuck the toes, lift the belly here. If you want, you can lift the knees. Press up and back, downward facing dog. I think we have one more, don't we? Let's try it up into upper push-up. Exhale, take chaturanga if you want. Press through the toes, lift. And now use your belly to lift back, downward facing dog. Very nice. Have a little breath or two in downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal if you need. Feel free to take a resting posture if you need. Let's take a nice deep breath here. Beautiful. Let's walk, step, or hop to the front of your mat. Lengthen your spine as you arrive here. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, press down into the feet. Send your heart forward and come all the way up. Reach through your fingers and exhale, Namaskar Mudra. So let's take another round and we'll add a few more exploratory postures. Remember our purpose, let's inhale up, is to sensitize the body. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, let's take a half lift. Exhale, palms to the mat. Dial your hands away from each other as you hop your feet back. And then exhale. Inhale, lift the heart. Press into your toes, lift your belly. Downward facing dog. Inhale, let's step the right foot forward. Allow your left knee to come down. And let's begin to sink the right foot and draw the energy back toward the body. Same thing with the left foot. The toes are tucked under and we're pulling everything into center right now. Then when you feel that that energy is merging at the pelvic floor and lower belly, let's inhale the arms to come up. Place your hands together if that's comfortable in your body. If it's not, if it gives you pinching at the shoulders, you can just have palms towards each other. But if they can be here, then we're going to energize like we're pulling the hands apart. So keep the legs pulling in to the core and keep the arms pulling apart. Let's take a big deep breath here. And as we exhale, we're going to curl the body forward, pull back with the navel, and then inhale, looking up and leaning back a little bit. Exhale, pull everything in, curl the body. Inhale, up and reach back. And we'll do it one more time. The legs are still pulling in. And inhale up, looking up and leaning back just a little. Let's hold it right here. And then bow the body over toward the right side. Inhale and come up. And we'll bow the body toward the left side. Inhale and come up. We don't have to move a lot. We're just sensitizing the sidelines of the body. Inhale, come up. And exhale. Very nice. Inhale, let's reach into the center, lean back just a little. Exhale, let's bring our hands down. Inhale, lift the back knee, step back and lower, chaturanga or knees down first. Inhale, lift the heart. Now press into your toes and lift the belly. And that's true whether you're coming through your knees or from the toes. Now inhale, send your left foot forward. Let the right knee come down. Sink your left foot, tug it back towards your body, and then strongly tuck right toes toward right knee. Remember, you want to activate that strongly enough so you're feeling that, especially in the inseams to pelvic floor and lower belly. Once you have established yourself there, let's reach the hands up. Remember, hands can stay apart if you need. If they're together, let's energize like we're pulling them apart. So let's draw everything into the center. Inhale. And as you exhale, curl the body forward a little bit. Pull back with your navel. Inhale, leaning back, looking up. Exhale, curl a little bit. Inhale. Exhale. You can do this with eyes closed if it feels like your balance is good this morning. And one more time. Exhale and curl, curl, curl. Inhale, let's come back up, leaning back ever so slightly, and then we'll bend the body toward the left side this time. Inhale, come up, and exhale over to the right side. Again, inhale, let's come up, and exhale left. Inhale, come up, and exhale. Remember, the legs are still drawing in, but we can feel those sidelines supporting us. One more time over to the left. Inhale, let's come up to center, and we'll exhale, bring the hands down. Inhale, let's lift the back knee. Exhale, step back, tone the belly as you lower, knees down first if you like. Inhale, little cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And you can stay in downward facing dog for a few breaths. So remember, we're using our Ujjayi breath, slowing down the breath, channeling it from pelvic floor engagement through the glottis engagement. It's not a lot of engagement. It's just enough to actually create sensation in the body and feel like you're channeling, slowing down the breath, making it very efficient. Let's take one full round of breath where we are right now. And then we'll prepare to come forward. So look between your hands. You might want to come onto your toes, walk, step, or hop to the front of your mat, lengthen your spine, and exhale, fold forward. Press down into your feet, send your heart forward as we come all the way up. Reach through your fingers, and exhale to Namaskar Mudra. Let's take one more round. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, dive your body forward and down. Inhale, take a half lift, feeling everything. Exhale, hands to the mat, step or hop back. Feel your toes, send your heart out over your hands, and exhale. Inhale, lift the heart, and lift your belly as you exhale back to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Let's inhale and step the right foot through and wiggle it over to the side of the mat, right over to the side if you can. Keep the hands on the mat for now and press down into your left toes, especially the great toe. And let's just play with that for a moment. So staying nice and low through the pelvis, pressing into the toes of your left foot. So just notice when you press into the toes of your left foot, where does that energy go? So using the toe pads and really pressing down. Can you feel that come up the front of your leg? Very nice. And now kind of a monkey foot on the right foot, pulling the toes back toward the heels, activating the arch. And then maybe taking the right hand to the right knee. If that feels super low, feel free to grab a block or maybe a stack of books and come up just a little bit higher. Okay, so we're having the right hand on the right knee, and we're going to rotate the body open, possibly lifting the right hand up. But it's also fine to keep the right hand to the right knee. We want to avoid lifting the hips a whole lot here, staying a little bit lower. So I'll give you a side view of that. So just taking the hand to the knee if you like, or possibly lifting it up. We're just keeping the hip from dropping all together, but not up too high. So we want to keep energy in the legs, keep feeling the toes of your left foot. Let's take one more breath here. And then we'll bring the hand down. Set yourself up right in the center. I'm using tented fingers. You could also use blocks here if that's better for you. So whatever works best. Press down into both feet. Gather the energy into the belly. Come up maybe a little bit higher, or maybe even reach the hands. Press into your feet here. Let's have one more deep breath. And let's take the hands down. So coming back into an upper push-up position. Use your toes to send your heart out over your hands. Dial hands away from each other as you lower. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift through the belly, downward facing dog. Inhale, take your left foot forward, and now you want to wiggle it to the side of the mat. Hands will go on the inside. Remember, you could be flat palms, tented fingers, or even use a block. Press into the toes of your right foot. Really see if you can grip the mat with your toes. And then draw these left toes back toward the left heel. Right hand can go on the mat or on a block, left hand to the left hip, and then start to open the body toward the left. Keep the liveliness in this right leg. You can feel that up the front side of the leg. Maybe the hand's gonna rise up. Also totally fine to keep it here. And now keeping both legs super lively. Breath is supporting you. And then we'll take the hand down. Press into both feet. Once again, remember how much energy we get from pressing down into the feet. Pull that energy into the belly, come up a little bit higher. Hands could be on blocks now. And then hands can reach forward. These are all options. Remember, you're just doing your own practice. Take it to wherever your body needs to go today. One more breath here. And then we'll bring the hands down, step the foot back, and we'll take chaturanga. Inhale, lift the heart, and tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. And remember, you always have the choice to go into child's pose or just table pose, or a pose that you feel is more restorative if that's what you need. Otherwise, downward facing dog will do, and we'll have one more breath there. You can always pause the video if you want to take a few extra breaths. All right, so let's prepare to come forward, looking between the hands. Walk, step, or hop to the front of your mat. Lengthen your spine as you arrive. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's come all the way up. Reach through your fingers. And exhale, hands can come to Namaskar Mudra. So now let's take a block, or you could take a pillow or a little bolster, or even something like a cushion. And we're going to put it between the lower legs. I like using a block myself, so that's what I'll do. I want to make sure that my feet are as close together as they can be, and I want to be able to really hold onto the block. So I'm going to lift and spread my toes and then root down through my toe pads. Now I'm energizing like I'm dialing my feet and knees away from each other. This helps me grip the block with my calf muscles. So as I do that, I'm going to just practice a couple of times going up and down. So what I want to do here, of course, is a little bit of strengthening and balancing. but I'm also waking up my foot proprioceptors. So that's why I want to really spread my toes. It's not about accomplishing a particular task here. It's about really sensitizing my feet. So that's why I'm just going up and down. So you just go up and down randomly. You can go a little higher or a little lower each time and just explore, okay? Wake up your feet. It's fine if you fall out of the pose, no problem. Your body is learning. It is taking notice, and that's the important part. So now let's see how high we can bring that up and just sustain it for a few breaths. So press into your toes, squeeze the block, make your arches strong and lively. And one more deep breath here. Very good. And then we'll let the heels come down. Inhale, keep holding the block or the pillow or whatever you have there. Folding forward. Now lift your toes if you can, while you still grip onto the block. Lift, and you can lift them up and down a couple of times. Again, we're just sensitizing the feet. Let's inhale up to half lift. Take the block and then bring your body all the way up. Very nice. So now we're taking the block and we're putting it behind the head. So it just looks like this. And I'm keeping my shoulder girdle pretty relaxed, okay? I'm not trying to, bring my elbows way back or anything. That's not the point here. What I'm doing here is waking up my back body. Okay, so I'm gonna press my head into my block, and the block into my head a little bit. Let's all stand on our left foot, lift and spread the toes, root down, make your monkey foot or your foot to core connection. Then step back a little bit with the right foot. You just have your right toe down. So let's not rush. You want to feel your left foot, left leg into pelvic floor and lower belly. Make that a connection that's very clear. And then you can just lift the right toes off of the mat. Now start to explore the back of your right leg, right hip, and the back of the spine, even the shoulder girdle and the head. So once you are feeling the sensation of that, you can start exploring forward and just keep feeling the back body. Remember, anytime we're standing on one leg, that leg is going to be dialing outward, and the lifted leg will be dialing inward and down. So keep pressing the right leg into the back line of the right leg, back line of the whole back body. Steady the breath and just hold and sustain this pose. You might surprise yourself as how long you can hold this. But no more than another 5 minutes or so. It's really sad that no one's going to laugh at that. I'll laugh at it. Let's come up nice and slow and step the right foot down. Beautiful. Let's just refresh ourselves, maybe take a little break from that position. Nice deep breath, and then we'll go right back. So the block is going behind the head, livening up my back body. I'm going to lift and spread my right toes, root down, make a monkey foot, and then toe back with the left foot. So establishing my foot through my leg to the floor of my core. Then I'm going to start lifting this left leg, and as soon as I do that, it really wakes up the back line of my body. So I'm just going to stay with the sensation of that and tip my body forward. And what I want to feel into is that back line. That back line is going to support me right from the head to the foot. Breathe steady, full ujjayi. Let's have one more breath here. And then we'll slowly, mindfully come back and step the foot down. Beautiful. Let's take the block down. We'll just put it beside the mat. Let's refresh ourselves with a vinyasa. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, nice big ujjayi breath, forward and down. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step or hop back up or push up, gaze forward, lower. Inhale, lift the heart. Now press into the feet, lift the belly as you come up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, let's come forward, walk, step, or hop. Lengthen your spine. And exhale, folding forward. Inhale, let's come all the way up. Reach through your fingers. And exhale, hands come to Namaskar Mudra. Let's soften into the knees. And we're going to take a block by the front of the mat. We'll soften into the knees and we'll step back with the left foot. Okay, we're coming into Trikonasana pose. And this block will be good beside the front foot. So in Trikonasana, you're going to have a heel to heel or heel to arch connection on the same line on your mat. And, please make yourself comfortable because we all have a different degree of turnout with that back leg. Both legs are straight though, not locked. So now enliven your feet, lift through the arches, reach out with your arms, and then send your hips toward the back of your mat as your hand comes to the block. I do recommend we all work with blocks because we're doing something a little different. So this left hand can be up, or if you have a preference, you could keep it at the hip or the sacrum even. Let's bend and straighten a couple of times here. So we're doing this so we don't lock back into the back of the knee and we keep our muscles lively. Now start to push a little more strongly into the feet. Use that energy to send your heart forward a little bit more. And by that I mean toward the front of the mat. Keep pressing even more strongly into the feet, and then you might find you can take the right hand away from the block. And again, you have a choice of where you're putting your left hand. Keep pressing into the feet, drawing the chest open wide. Breathe, Ujjayi breathing. So I'll just take that to the side so you can see what I'm doing. We won't stay here all that much longer. One more deep breath here. And then the hand can come back to the block and this upper hand can come down. Let's come up with a bent knee now and we'll take a low warrior two pose. So arrange yourself here with warrior two. You want to make sure your great toe points or grounds down firmly, and then press this knee to the outside. And we're lifting the arch of the back foot, sealing the pinky edge. Gather all the energy through the legs to pelvic floor and lower belly, and then arms can come out. So while we maintain our foundation, let's work with externally rotating at the shoulders as far as we can, and then internally rotating as far as we can, So out and in. So this is really a shoulder thing that we're doing, not the forearms. And one more time. And now when we externally rotate, let's hold that external rotation. Nice deep breathing here, and inhale up and back for exalted warrior. In exalted warrior, it's very normal, very, very common for us to come up out of the pose a little bit like this. So see if you can hold your foundation and still lift the gaze. Remember our connection right from pubic bone up the front of the body, round the back of the head, that front superficial line connection. It helps you right here. Inhale, and now exhale. Elbow can come just above the knee, fingers reach toward the front of your mat, and you can decide if there's space for you to open. What I want to encourage you to explore is possibly hand to the block at whatever level works best for you, even hand to the foot, or hand could come inside. These are all things to explore, and then fingers are reaching beyond the head. All of us are going to press down more firmly into the feet. Press into the feet, and notice that gives you the impetus to spin the body open a little bit. So press into your feet. I know it's tempting to rely on the hand quite a lot, but let's try to make this about the feet. Let's take one more full breath right here. And then your left hand is coming down. We'll turn the body and step the body back. And take your body to the mat through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or little cobra. Lift the belly, exhale, press back. Let's come to the toes, look forward, little bend of the knees, and hop your feet toward the front. Exhale, fold, and inhale. Let's come all the way up. Reach through your fingers. Exhale, hands come to Namaskar Mudra. So once again, with the block set up close to the front of the mat, we'll soften the knees and step back with the right foot. Starting once again with Trikonasana. So feel free to adjust the width of your stance and even within the same posture. That's, I do encourage that experimentation so you just know what the difference is in your own body. Inhale, let's bring the arms to shoulder height, and exhale, we'll send the hips toward the back of the mat and bring the hand to the block. Now start to energize this front leg. You want to bend and straighten a few times. Just feel the musculature that supports you. Have a good relationship with your muscles is what I recommend. Dial this leg outward because it could fall in. I'm sure you've seen this shape before many times. So let's dial it out and keep it nice and strong. So hand is on the block and we're pressing into the legs firmly enough that we could take this arm away. Upper hand can reach up or you can maintain it behind the body or at the hip. Feel free again to experiment. Can I press into my feet and sustain this shape, this challenge to my system? Push down into the floor. Let's take one more big breath here. And we'll take the upper hand down and just bend into the front knee for Warrior Two pose. Grounding through the great toe here, dial the knee out, pull the energy in, and then send the arms out. Let's externally rotate as far as we can, and then internally rotate. These twisting actions, when they're unloaded like this, they might still be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's pretty nutritious for the shoulder joint, really good. So let's spin it out and spin it in, and next time we'll hold it out. So once again, press down into your feet, lift the arches of your feet, pull it into the body, and then inhale. Exalted warrior, and we're paying attention to what's happening in our foundation. Are we rising out of it, or are we maintaining it? And this starts to challenge us, and fatigue us, but that's the threshold we need to get stronger in the practice. This makes the whole practice eventually seem much easier. Next, as you inhale, let's come back through warrior, and then we'll take it to Parsvakonasana, so reaching the fingers toward the front. Remember to press down firmly. You're choosing what level you're practicing at. Or the hand could go here. So this is all options for you. Spin the body open. Keep pressing into the feet as this happens. Notice I'm intentionally tucking my hip in and back by dialing that foot out. If I don't dial the foot out, this is more likely to happen. So I'm dialing that foot out like I always do. One more deep breath here. And then we'll take the hand down, tuck the back toes, and step back, upper push-up. Lower, chaturanga. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's come to the front, walk, step, or hop. Inhale. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach through your fingers. And exhale, Namaskar Mudra. Let's take some standing balancing now. So standing into the left foot, once again, we'll begin there. Let's take the right thigh up. And before we rush on, we're pressing down into the left foot. We have the arch lift because we're using our toes, pulling that into the belly, and we'll stay up nice and high on this left hip. So we don't want any sinking down. Get as tall as you can. Pull that energy through the pelvic floor and lower belly, and then let's really activate here, pressing the thigh up and the hand down. And then start to feel the back body. So left shoulder, right hip, right shoulder, left hip. Feel that crossing over behind the body, full of support. Beautiful. Now let's take the knee to the outside and press. I'm really pushing this knee back and pressing my hand into it. And now those cross body lines in the back body, the functional lines, they really light up. Very good. And then we'll bring this knee back. Take the left hand around the right knee, and I'm going to reach back with my right hand. Now once again, knee, hand. Ah! I guess that was a little bit long for me to natter away. So press, press, press. And let's take the hand back and the foot down. Okay, let's try the other side. So these are our prep poses. I think these are great poses to do almost every day. Just press straight down now into your right foot, activate your arch, and then lift the left thigh up. Let's get up nice and tall on this right hip. Gather through the belly. Press, press, press. Good, and then we'll switch. Press the knee to the outside. Remember, we're finding those support lines in our body. We have the deep front line, and we're really tapping into the functional lines now, crossing the back body. And then we'll take it across in front. Right hand around left knee, left hand reaches back. So we're pressing the knee into the hand into the knee, and we're feeling that right in the center, like the body is being wrapped around that central core right now. Let's take one more big breath here, and take hand back to hip, and take the foot to the floor. Let's just sort of shake it out, relax your hips, and we'll take another round. So now step down into your left foot. This time we'll activate the left leg. Let's do that first. And then we'll bring the right leg in. I would recommend that you lace your fingers and then try to bring that leg right into the body. And what I like to do here is just explore how tall I can make my body, pressing down and lifting up through the crown as I draw the thigh in to my trunk. And then we can just kind of switch the hands and see about extending the foot forward. So it doesn't matter if the knee is bent or straight. We're just reaching as strongly as we can with the foot. Keep the body super tall. And then activate like you're pulling your toes up a bit more, and then let go. And take another deep breath. And let's come down nice and slow. Beautiful. Let's take that left leg, shake it out, standing on the right. Activate short foot or monkey foot, nice and tall, and then bring the left leg up. Let's lace the fingers and draw that in. So just take your time here. You can stay here the whole time. This is so beneficial. You can pull back with your hands and light up your back body. Really good stuff. But if you want to, you can switch your hand position, take it behind the knee, and then start to work with extending the leg. Connect this leg to your back body. Very good. And now lift your toes up a bit more, then let go. And breathe. Anytime you're going to let go of your hands on the leg, I recommend doing that. Lift your toes up a little higher. It gives you more sustenance, more ability to sustain the pose. Beautiful. Let's take a deep breath. Exhale forward and down. Find a little balance challenge. Let's just bring tented fingers out in front. Stand on the left foot, right foot goes up. Now let's bring a little bend into the left foot and see if you can start to take the hands away. You might just do it like this and keep them hovering, or you might reach them back. And now start to push into that left foot. Feel the back line of the body with the right foot. Stretch your heart forward. One more breath. And we'll bring the fingers back down and let the foot come down. Shake that off a little bit. Shaking is really good for the body. Root down into your toes and lift the left leg up. We want a little bend in this standing leg. Make it bend, grab with your toes, Good, and then see if you can let go or see if you can reach back. Press down, find the back body, back of the shoulders, back of the hips, back of the leg, and let's bring the hands down. Foot will follow. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, all the way down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step or hop, and come to the mat. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, let's hop our feet toward our hands. Spread out your toes, squeeze the thighs together, lift the heels, and then bring hands to Namaskar Mudra. Let's keep pressing into our feet. We want to be out of our bottom a little bit. I'm going to take this from a side view. So just keep lifting the heels for now. Press into your toes. And then lift a little bit more. Bring your heels down and your arms forward. Head can be just in line with your arms and shoulders here. Press down into your feet, dialing the knees away from each other so they're not touching. Press into your feet. Very good. And then start to lift the toes and come back to Namaskar Mudra. Keep pressing into your toes. Big breath. And once again, we're lifting a little bit, bringing the heels down, reaching the arms forward, press into the feet, pull the energy up the inseams, and let's do it again. Let's start to lift the heels, bring the hands back. One more deep breath here. Beautiful. And then hands can come to the mat. And I'll give you some options. You know, if you're newer to Bakasana or crane pose, you might want to have a pillow or something in front of you. Plant your palms a little closer than they would be for downward facing dog. You still want to dial the hands away from each other. This is going to help you keep the elbows tucked. And I'm bringing my knees in as close and wrapping my arms around my knees as much as possible. And I can just be on my toes, and I might decide to just stay here. Or I could lean into this a little bit more and experiment with lifting one or both sets of toes as I sustain. Another option here, again, if you're just newer to the pose, you could put the block there and intentionally put your head on the block. So do that before you lift the toes, and then lift the toes up. I don't recommend having the block up too high because that won't give you enough leverage to get your toes up. So this is as high, or even this. You'll be surprised at how well that can support you. So let's do it one more time. If you're sustaining the pose, good for you. Lifting the toes, and then one day you're just going to let the lower body pull you off the block. Okay, we'll talk about that another time maybe. So once you feel complete, let's step back to upper push-up position. Let's stretch the heart forward, dial hands away from each other, and lower all the way onto the belly. Slide the hands forward, open the hands wide, and energize down into your palms. Now before we do anything else, let's root down through the pubic bone and energize the belly like we're lifting the navel away from the mat. Lift the navel toward the spine. Now with our hands, we're energized like we're dialing them away from each other. And then we'll pull the hands toward the body. Keep lifting the navel. Steady the breath. Beautiful. Now keep rooting through the pubic bone and lifting the navel, press through the palms, but change the direction. You're pushing the palms forward and letting your elbows straighten. And then we'll bring the elbows down and start to pull the palms toward the body. Keep the navel rooted, pubic bone rooted, navel lifted, and then we'll change direction again. So press into the palms, push the hands away from you, and let the elbows straighten. Let's do that one more time. Pull toward you, and then press away from you. One more deep breath. Keep lifting the navel. Beautiful. And let's let the elbows come out and bring the forehead on stacked hands. Just take a couple of breaths there. And then we'll bring ourselves up onto the forearms again. We'll actually use this left forearm across in front of us. Now we want to make sure that we're not dropping down. We want to use that arm to stay up nice and tall. Then you're going to bend your right knee and reach back, catching hold with your right hand. Let's keep this nice and relaxed and just gently draw the right heel toward the seat. Then you're going to open the front side of your hip and hug it down into the mat. And then you're going to push your foot into your hand. Press it in. Very good. And let's release. Coming onto the right forearm. Bend the left knee. Reach back and catch hold. And as always, if you need to use a block for that, a strap for that, you can use a strap. But we're just being quite gentle here, just drawing the heel toward the seat. That's step one. Then we intentionally press the front side of the hip into the mat and then push the foot into the hand. Press, press, press. And then let's release. So let's come into both knees bent, hands reaching back. Try to keep your feet pretty close together. Root down into your pubic bone, lift the heart, and now start to push the feet into the hands to let the thighs come up. Press into that front body is actually being challenged right here. One more full deep breath. Feel free to stay here for longer if you want. Really work it. And let's release. Let the legs straighten. We'll take the hands beside the chest and press back for child's pose. Take a few breaths in child's pose. Make sure your ujjayi breath is smooth. Check in with yourself. And then as you start to feel ready, you're going to just sit back up over your heels and then prepare for dolphin pose. We're going to do dolphin pose with the thumbs meeting and the hands arranged in this manner and ensuring that the elbows do not flare out. We want to keep them contained. So if you have your thumbs together like this, it's just a little bit more than parallel, okay? So not quite parallel, but not a whole lot more. So I'm just turning sideways so you can see what I'm doing. Once we're in this position, then we can come up onto our toes. You want to energize through your arms like you're pushing your forearms toward the front of the mat. You can see how that changes my shoulder position a little bit. So if I wasn't doing that, I might be about here. But when I energize down and push my forearms to the front of the mat, it changes the angle at my shoulder. So that will help me in other postures. That's why I want to practice that if I can. So you can stay right here, or you can stand on your left foot and pick your right foot up. So this left foot might want to spin inward, so I want to keep dialing it outward, and I want to dial this upper leg inward and down. And I'm pressing into the back line of my body here. Pressing into my forearms, sending them forward on my mat. And just a couple of breaths there. And then we'll take it down and we'll switch. Remember, this leg might want to drop in, so I'm going to keep dialing it out and dialing this foot out, or dialing the left leg inward now. Keep pressing the hands toward the front of the mat. Notice if your elbows are flaring. Steady your breath. And then we'll bring the foot down. Let's come down onto our knees And just take a little child's pose. Full Ujjayi breathing here. We'll just take one more version of dolphin pose before we carry on. So let's bring our forearms back. This time, if you feel like you need to, you can lace your fingers. That will make you feel a little bit stronger. But if you want to, you can work on this open hand position, even though it's quite a bit more challenging. So let's come into more of an upper push-up, a little bit halfway between upper push-up and regular dolphin. And we'll do a few dolphin push-ups. If it's better for you, you can certainly do this with the knees down. No problem. But if you are up to the challenge today, feel free to do it with the knees lifted. Let's do maybe 5 in total. More if you like. And then we'll bring the knees down and slide the hands forward. Let's come up onto tented fingers. Press into the fingertips, keeping this shoulder, what we would think of maybe as a shoulder opener, keeping it a little bit more active. Let's take one more breath. And then we'll sit up over our heels once again. And you can just take the legs out in front of you, stretching the feet forward. Let's take a block and put it underneath the knees. Okay, so if you don't have a block, feel free to use a rolled up blanket or a towel or the dog, whatever's handy. Even this would work quite nicely. Inhale, raise the arms up, and exhale into a forward fold. So again, I'm going to take it sideways so you can have a better look at what I'm doing. Forward folding here. Maybe your arms slide under, but they don't have to. But what you're having here is full hip flexion, belly resting on thighs, and head comes down. Just take a couple of breaths there, settling into the pose, and then lift your gaze slightly, and then see about bringing the legs to straighten. Now, what's happening here is you have to use the muscles on the front side of your legs. So it doesn't really matter at all if you're getting the tiniest little lift or if you're lifting them right up, as long as the front side is active. And so we'll remain here with our hips flexed. Stretch your heart forward and lift. Lift those heels. Pretend you have flames under here that you don't want those heels to touch down onto. Keep lifting. One more breath here. And then you're gonna just relax and fall forward again. And just take 1 or 2 more breaths. Then you can remove whatever was under your knees and forward fold. So this time, please energize down into your heels, and as though you could pull the heels toward your body and bring your thigh bones deeper into your pelvis. Energize, using pelvic floor as well. Keep the breath super steady. And next, as you inhale, press. Then as you exhale, release. Inhale, pull yourself back up. And now we'll bring the right foot in and turn the foot to the inseam of the left leg. Now we're gonna actually make our angle wider here. So I'm gonna pull the heel closer to my pubic bone and open this knee a little bit more. If you feel like that is kind of restricted in your body, put a low pillow, blanket, towel, or something under your sitting bones, absolutely. And then to come forward, you might decide a block could be handy. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's inhale. I want to actually activate both my legs really firmly down, and then I'm going to stretch my heart forward. I might even want to do a few sliding, few rounds of sliding, perhaps. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I find in my body, this seems to get my body willing to go into places that it might have resistance to going. Been doing a lot of resistance with my legs lately, and so I do wake up with a little bit of delayed onset muscle soreness, so they're a little more excited about these moving postures than they are about the static postures. But after doing that a few times, you might decide to hang out on the block. The block can be used in many different ways, but I'm still pressing down into my legs. I'm trying to hug the back of my left leg down and hug the side of this right leg down into the floor or the mat. And now once again, I want to imagine that I could pull my thigh bones a little deeper into my pelvis. Gather through the pelvic floor. And one more deep breath. Beautiful. Then you're going to ease yourself up. And taking the left hand along the left leg, inhale, reach up with the right, and then just slide forward as far as your body allows. So you might end up about here, you might come down lower, whatever works in your body. So remember earlier at the very beginning of the practice, we were feeling those side lines. So you're going to tap into those right now too. And just enjoy. We're staying quite active here, pressing down into the legs. One more breath. And then use your legs, push down to rise your body up. Beautiful. And then we'll come around to the front. Shake out the leg, and we'll bring the other side in. So remember, we're opening up our angle a little bit. Pubic bone or heel is toward the pubic bone. Maybe we're using a blanket or a block or a towel. Sitting up nice and tall, press down into your legs, and hands can come here. You can do some of these sliding actions. Make it nice and easy. These are good explorations. Just notice how, if the body is receptive, it will help you a lot to be pressing down into your legs. One more time. And then just bring it out there and hang out with that for a bit. So forehead could come down onto something. You can be right on the floor if you like, but I do recommend both legs are still pressing down. Press, press. You'll just notice that so much good stuff is happening when you press down. You derive so much energy into the body. And then press down into your legs and use that to lift your body back up. And then we'll turn toward the front and straighten the legs, shake it out. Let's take the right leg in now, sitting up nice and tall. Remember, you can always sit on a towel or a blanket if it feels like your pelvis spills back. So that would look like this. So what you want it to look like is pelvis is sitting straight up. If you can do that without anything under your seat, go there. But if you need, it's just a matter of aligning or situating the pelvis in a position that is more respectful to the SI joints and to the base of the spine. So let's sit up nice and tall, press down into the feet, and then we'll wrap the left arm. Let's swing the right arm back, looking back, reaching, activating through the core, and then you can just tent the fingers and keep looking back. So we've been practicing with our eyes a little bit, challenging the eye muscles. So we want to keep nice and tall, going into the spiral, looking to the right first of all, as far as we can with our eyes, and then keeping the head exactly where it is, you're going to turn the eyes back toward the left. So go into the left corner of your eyes, and then go back into the right corner of your eyes. And one more time into the left. And one more time into the right. And then we'll unwind the body and come out of the pose, and we'll take the other side. So bring the left leg in, sit up nice and tall. Make sure your pelvis is able to sit up tall. Step the foot across. We can wrap the right arm around the left leg, swing the left arm back, looking back. Legs are really active. And then fingers tent. And then look back as far as you can to the left, right into the left corner of your eye. And then keeping your head exactly the same, turn your eyes into the right corner. So do a few rounds of that and just notice if it's easier to look one direction or the other. This is good to know. And now let's unwind and bring our body back to the front and relax the leg. Let's scoot toward the front of the mat a little bit. I'll actually just pull my mat back a little bit so that I'm not screwing up the shot from what you can see. Let's begin with the feet in front in a Baddha Konasana posture, sitting up nice and tall. And then you can hold either the insteps or the great toes, or you could weave your hands underneath. We're just going to see what it's like to bend at the hips. This is just actually a little test. So let's just test that out. See if we feel resistance anywhere. See if we're actually able to activate the knees to come down. Okay, so what's that like? And then we'll come up and back, straighten the legs, put something that is slidey in front of us. If you're on a carpeted area, you might find that something smooth, like a satin pillow or a plastic bag even will slide on the carpet better than a cushion would. So you can find something. But once again, we'll go into some of these sliding actions. So pressing down into, I actually feel like I'm hugging the whole back side of my legs into the floor and pulling back. And I'm pulling all of that into my core. And I feel like I actually have control of this. I'm not being passive. Have control. I'm strengthening the tissues around my joints, the tissues around my knees. I'm going to do it one more time. And out here. Now, I start to really light my legs up. I'm pressing down as firmly as I can, reaching forward with my heart. Press, 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 press. And then I'm going to relax a little bit and pull it back. And then once again, I'm going to bring my feet in and see about folding forward. And just notice if there's a lot less resistance now. It's possible. Press down through the knees, stretch your heart forward. Just notice you have a little bit more wiggle room at the hips. And so we're not really stretching. We keep activating around our hips, but we get more receptivity from the muscles and the connective tissue as well. Let's sit our bodies up and back. And now we can stretch the legs in front of us again. Just extend the knees. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, spill your body back so that you're lying flat on the mat. I'm just going to take the microphone pack off of my back so I can lie down. Okay, so let's go into some little bridge postures. So taking your feet a little ways away from the sitting bones. They don't have to be in super close, and please feel free to experiment. But you do want to have the great toes pointing straight ahead, heels a little bit wider. Then feel your shoulder blades. Let's tuck them under just a little bit and feel like we can actually actively press the shoulder blades down. Good. Now press into your feet and engage through the pelvic floor and lower belly and start to lift your body up. So you can take your hips quite far away from the mat and press back actively into your shoulder blades as well. So if there's enough space under your body, you might decide to bring the hands under your body. If you do that, I recommend you keep pushing down into the feet and seeing if you can take your hips out of your hands. Keep pressing down. Nice full breath here. If this irritates your knees a little bit, please feel free to take your feet wider apart or step the feet a little further away from your body. Let's take one more breath here. And then we'll bring it down one vertebra at a time. So that means I'm going to keep my tail lifted till the very last second. And then I let it release. Shoulders in position. Let's do it again. This time I'm going to recommend you take your feet really close together. Again, if that doesn't work in your body, feel free to separate them again. But you can press down into your feet and bring the body up. Now, let's step into the left foot even more strongly, and then see about taking the right foot up. Press into the shoulder blades, press into the foot. One more breath there. And then we're going to take the foot down, press into the right foot as you take the left foot up. Press. Continue to breathe. One more breath. And let's step the foot down. Let's press up one more time. Press, press, press. And let's bring it down. This time we'll bring the knees into the chest. We'll rock the body from side to side. Then you can bring knees and feet together over to the left side of your mat. Okay, just drop them over to the left side. Just going to guide you without demonstrating this part. So knees and feet are over to the left side. Shoulders are reaching back, and even press the shoulder blades back into the floor, the mat which is beneath you. Then gather through the belly. Let's come back to center and bring your legs over to the right side. Press back into both shoulder blades. Nice, full, easy breath. Very good. And then gather through the belly and come back to center. Take a nice deep breath. Reach your arms over your head. Reach with your toes. Make your body as long as you can. Inhale, pull the belly in as you do that. And then exhale, everything comes into the center. Make your body into a tight bud. And then inhale, lengthen once again. Exhale, close into a tight little bud. And one more time. Inhale, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Pause. And as you exhale this time, drop into Shavasana posture. So feel free to pause and collect anything that you need to make yourself more comfortable for Shavasana. And I will be leaving you in Shavasana, okay? So I will guide you into the position, and then I will let you go. So please gather whatever you need, and then in Shavasana, in your posture, feet are about hip width, mat width apart, we'll say. It's nice to tuck your shoulder blades under your body just a little bit so that your chest can remain open, but feel free to arrange the arms in any way that's comfortable for you today. And then just allow your breath to soften a little bit, but we want it to remain full. Scan your body and just ask the feet, ask the calves to relax a little bit more. Ask your thighs to relax a little bit more. Ask the hips to relax just a little bit more. Ask the pelvis to be a little bit heavier into the mat. Ask your belly to soften. Ask the chest and the thorax to float around the breath, just undulating softly. Unburden the shoulders, let them fall back into the support of the earth beneath you. Ask your arms to relax just a little bit more, and the hands as well. And then allow your head to be cradled by your mat beneath your head.
in this relaxed state, just recognize the okayness of everything as it is right now. And just allow your body, your mind, your tissues, your cells to feel gratitude, feel supported, and understand that you have the resources within you to be healthy and vital and as such an important contributor to those around you. And now trust that your body will take the resources you've just given it in your practice and put them to the best possible use. And allow yourself to rest now. And maybe you want to set a timer or something to come back in about 5 minutes or so. So I thank you. I hope you enjoyed your practice, and blessings to you till we meet again. Namaste.